Hello. Good morning. My name is Vanessa Spann, and it is a pleasure to speak at Habitat for Humanity's Women Build Breakfast as one of the privilege of women build homeowners. I heard about this program while I was working at a meet when as inspector at Pilgrim Pride. The Habitat process was pretty simple. I went to the office and completed the application to apply. I said it wouldn't hurt to at least try. I was living in Chattanooga housing where my rent was $488 a month. The more I made, the more my, went, my rent went up. I jumped on the opportunity to pay a $300 mortgage that would never go up, even if I got a raise. With Habitat, not only was my mortgage cheaper, but I was able to pay all my utilities, including light and water. I was thankful that my mortgage and my utilities were lower than the amount I was paying in housing. I set myself a 5-year goal. I promised my son Vincent that we will be living in a house before he graduated high school. All of his friends lived in houses. I thought he should live in one too. We moved in October of 2002. He was in the 7th grade. By the way, that was 6 years before he graduated from the Center of Creative Arts in 2008. The process of building the house was a challenge. In order for me to get my house, I had to complete 300 sweat hours. During this process, I helped other homeowners build their houses too, from the ground up. It was an experience that taught me how to fix things in my house if or when they broke down. The blueprint was my guide. I was excited to know what all went into building the house. I learned all of the parts and pieces that went into construction. When we experienced inclement weather and couldn't work on houses, we went to the warehouse and we learned how to sort nails. While building other family homes, you meet a lot of people and you eventually become friends. Another requirement is attending a 12-week financial class. That taught me how to save money after covering my monthly expenses. When Vincent and I moved in, we were very excited. The cost of the house was $45,000, zero interest. That's the most important thing, y'all. If you get into housing with Habitat, zero interest. Folks call you on the phone and say they want to give you something, it won't happen. Can't nobody beat zero interest. Remember that. In a newspaper article that was written about our story, I said, it's mine, but if you die, my son, him, can stay in the house and it'll be his. I worked 2 jobs to pay my house off early. It was a great feeling. I finished paying my house off. I felt so accomplished. When I submitted the final payment for my home, I framed my future, and it made me What it made me to be encouraging to get housings for others. Thank you.
Good morning. I am Vincent Hale, and today I stand before you as a proud educator, musician, and son. First, allow me to express my sincere gratitude to the Habitat for Humanity Women Build Breakfast Planning Committee, especially my colleague and friend, Ariel Hayes, for inviting my mom and I to speak today. It is an honor to stand before you and share how this program has made a positive impact on my life. I started by saying that I'm a proud educator. Currently, I serve as the Dean of Fine Arts and Director of the Men's Ensemble at my alma mater, Chattanooga High School Center for Creative Arts. Your ears were blessed by the melodious sounds of a few of my students, Mr. Orion Weaver, who is a wonderful jazz saxophone musician, Mr. Micah Carpenter, who is a budding songwriter and producer, and Mr. Caleb Hollings, who will be featured in an original musical at the Chattanooga Theater Center this summer. My aim is to impact student academic, social, emotional, and spiritual development through the power of the arts. I'm passionate about making students feel comfortable on and off the stage by providing students with performance opportunities that will support and enhance their communication and presentation skills. My goal is to create a psychologically safe environment with an emphasis on lifelong learning. Music is my life, and I have to give a special shout out to Stacy Lightfoot, who actually drove me to Tuscaloosa, Alabama to visit Stillman College, where I completed my undergraduate studies. Thank you so much, Stacy. There's not a day that goes by that I don't sing, whether it be in the shower, in my car, or at church, or in class. I always say that my life is a musical and there's always a song for any occasion. You heard me sing Make Them Hear You from Ragtime the Musical. That piece reminds me that I have a story to tell, and I'm a young black man trying to make it in America. Through singing, I am empowered to share my talents, thoughts, and emotions with the world. I found my outlet. Music is a universal language that everyone can understand, enjoy, and participate in. It eases pain and breaks barriers. This leads me to my final point, and I'm so grateful to the woman who brought me into this world. I witnessed my mom sacrifice day in and day out to ensure I had every opportunity. She never pushed me to participate in anything that she enjoyed, but I wasn't passionate about. She always encouraged me to follow my dreams and make my own path. As a child, I didn't fully understand why some people lived in houses and others, like us, lived in apartments, but I knew that I was loved and cared for. When my mom told me that we would be moving into our own house as a result of her participating in this very program, I was through the roof, pun intended. I was totally bummed when they informed us that I was too young to help fulfill the sweat hours requirement. I wanted to help my mom get them done as soon as possible. I remember her fighting with our old neighbors about parking spaces or the music being too loud, and I knew that she wouldn't have to experience those conflicts anymore. One of my fondest and most vivid memories living at 2406 Union Avenue was when I received my driver's license. I'll never forget walking home from the bus stop and seeing a car that I didn't recognize in the driveway. My mom did that because she was hardworking, resilient, but also because she was a product of this amazing program that gave her financial freedom in order to buy me a car. Thank you for pouring into her, which in turn has poured into me, and thus allows me to pour into my students. Habitat for Humanity has absolutely helped me frame my future and is the real deal. Allow me to introduce our 22 Women Build homeowner and the next in line to this amazing legacy, Taryn.
My mom inspires me. I'm the woman that I am today because of how she raised me and how she pushed me to be independent. My childhood was great. I was born premature and I developed cerebral palsy. I'd been a full-time wheelchair user my whole life. Unfortunately, me and my family have never lived anywhere that is completely accessible to me. But now, growing up and older, I'm looking back on things and I'm like, man, that must have been tough for like my mom or my family to have to like lift me in my wheelchair into the home every day. So I've never had that experience. So I'm looking forward to when I move into this home, experiencing an accessible home that I'm comfortable in and I don't have to make do with. I'm majoring in mass communications at Chattanooga State with plans to transfer over to UC when I finish. So once I get moved into the house and I have like kind of my own little space and I'll have an extra bedroom, I'm excited to be able to use that as an at-home office. When I was accepted in the program, I was super excited. I cried. Like every milestone I have with Habitat, like I have to get off the phone and like go sob. It's just an opportunity that I never thought I would have. Homeownership is important to me because I will probably have this home paid off by the time I'm ready to retire. So having that and knowing that just gives me a lot of comfort that I know that I'll always have a roof over my head. It took me over 6 months to find the apartment that I'm living in now, and it is still not accessible enough for me. I still struggle with getting in the door. The ramp isn't built properly, and my kitchen isn't accessible, and it's like this narrow, so it's very difficult for me to cook. I'm excited to have an accessible kitchen, and I hope that everybody holds me to it for cooking and stuff, now that I won't have an excuse to be so lazy when it comes to that kind of stuff. And I have a feeling that things are going to be way easier than I ever realized, now that I'm like, oh, I can actually reach that, and I'm not having to like really stretch, or I'm not having to put things in weird places. I do have friends with disabilities, and I always felt uncomfortable like inviting them to my space now because I make do in it, but I don't know how they're gonna make do in it, and I don't want it to be one of those things where they don't feel comfortable in the space. So now I'll be able to invite those friends over and know that they'll be able to use the bathroom, they'll be able to get in the door, they'll be, and I won't feel like it's such an inconvenience for them to come and visit. I think it's great that I can bring some disability representation to this program and to this process. I know that other disabled people have gone through this program before, but I love that I'm able to bring awareness to that's an option. Habitat has experience with making homes accessible, and I've mentioned before, that's another reason why I'm excited for this process, because if I were to go out and just build a home on my own, first of all, I wouldn't be able to afford it. But also, I wouldn't know what I need to do to make that accessible to me until I got moved into the house and was like, oh, I should have done this, or I should have done that. But Habitat, since they're used to building those types of homes for people, they're gonna show me things or think of things that I wouldn't have even thought of. So I'm, that's why this is such a good idea. It's just such a good privilege for me. I was very honored to be picked as the Women's Build homeowner, and I know that it's a privilege, and I just think that's so wonderful that my home is going to be a symbol of women supporting a woman. Well, I definitely wanted to say thank you so much for everyone that's involved with this, all the women that are going to be volunteering. I'm so appreciative of this. I know that this is an honor and a privilege. And I'm just super excited to meet the volunteers and, to go along in this journey with them.
I didn't trip. That was close. All right, let's give it up for Taryn. I also want to thank Vincent for being here, and Vanessa. Vanessa was being very humble. I met her a couple of years ago. She was serving a meal at the Chattanooga Community Kitchen, giving back to her community. So not only has she become an incredible homeowner, she's an incredible mother, but she has chosen to give back throughout the community in ways that she didn't even mention in her remarks. So thank you very much. Let's give them a round of applause, please, too. We've thanked the Women Build Committee, but we haven't thanked all the staff and volunteers that have really worked hard to make this event successful. So I want to say thank you to all the staff for Habitat for Humanity, the volunteers, the board members, the committee members, and all of you for being here, because we wouldn't be able to make Women Build a real thing without the women and the men I'm a man, so I have to say that, right? The men that are here. So thank you very much for being here. Thank you, too, to Stacy. Her energy is infectious, her compassion, everything about it. It's amazing. I was still in rural West Virginia in 6th grade with my own single mother living in a house that she did own. So I missed the 6th grade class with Edna where she taught us grace, composure, poise. So unlike Edna, I'm actually going to ask you to take out your phone. I know that's not okay in most environments, but this is, as I mentioned, a fundraiser. This is the 7th annual fundraising breakfast here for Habitat for Humanity's Women Build program, and you'll see in the center of your table a little house that's been built, and on the back of a card that's hanging from it, there is a QR code. There's also one on the back of your program, if that makes it easier for you. So through your involvement, your financial support, your presence, you're going to help a woman become a homeowner. Women like Taryn have become homeowners through the Women Build program many times. As you've heard from Stacy, from Vanessa, from Vincent, from Edna, from Taryn, from Tara at the very beginning, homeownership is literally transformational. It puts an end to generational poverty. It creates a stage for success that's unparalleled in other social services, perhaps with the exception of education. At Habitat, the future that we create is a great one, and that future, it's why we're here. Future homeowners like Taryn, who have worked so hard to get where they are through their incredible stories of determination and perseverance. Taryn is certainly the star today. Not only have you kept full-time employment and been a student throughout this process, but together with your family and friends, you've completed the requirements to become a homeowner. She should be proud. I'm proud of Taryn. I'm also proud of Habitat. Last year, the Women Build Breakfast was my very first week on the team of Habitat for Humanity. Over the past year, we've worked to improve services. Not only are we doubling the number of homes that we'll build this year, but we'll also expand programs to include eviction prevention, direct social work with the families we work with, and different modes of construction, density, alternative construction, things that will make us be accessible to even more people. We could not do any of this without you. So as you consider how you might support our work, I would ask that you consider the impact of affordable housing and homeownership on the families we serve, on the community that we live in, and also please consider the incredible need, the growth that has occurred in need during the period of COVID. It's of the past few years. Thank you again for your partnership, and I'm going to welcome the energetic one up here to the stage.
All right, next year, I am going to ask to be sat at a table that's a lot closer to the stage. But I am getting my steps in this morning. When I learned about the Women Build program at Habitat for Humanity, I was really inspired to see that women were gathering to help and support other women, putting in that sweat equity to achieve the dream of home ownership. An affordable home, being put in an affordable home, being able to be self-reliant, the stability that comes along with living in your own home. And I think some of us may take that for granted. And what I am inspired by today is just the voices and Taryn and Tara and Vanessa and Vincent sharing their personal stories about how hard it is for people that we love to acquire something that we sometimes take for granted. But your support means so much today, and it's going to make an impact. So Jens told you to take your phones out, and I want you all to keep your phones out. But this is a fundraising event, and I'm going to ask you all 4 questions, and we're going to take just a few minutes to do some table talk and table discussion. I'm going to ask you all 4 questions, and I want you to talk to the people at your table and answer question number 1. Why is it important to frame our future? Why is it important to frame our future? Take a few seconds at your table, fake chatter, do something, but you can't just look at me and just be quiet. Take some time and ask your table mate, answer the question, why is it important to frame our future? Don't be shy. Question number 2, why is it important now? Why is it important now? Keep the conversation going. Third question. Third question. All the people in the world, why are you the best person to support this cause? Talk to your neighbor, don't look at me. And the very last question, I need everyone's attention because hopefully we can do this in unison, ladies and gentlemen. Is Habitat for Humanity the best organization to tackle the affordable housing issue? Is Habitat for Humanity the best? Yes. Everyone, let's give it up for Habitat for Humanity. So hopefully you all have convinced your table mates why this affordable housing issue is important, and the urgency, I hope, in this room is now to do something this morning, and I need you all to help me raise some money. So you have the QR code in front of you inside of the Wooden House, but also if you want to go the traditional route, inside of your programs there is an insert. We're going to have these young ladies from GPS walk around and hold up your cards. If you want to fill out a card and make a pledge, feel free to do that as well. And I need to let you all know what the goal is for today. The goal for this event is to raise $17,000 towards Taryn's house. And thanks to Norma and Olin Mills, they have contributed $10,000 and will match up to $10,000 towards today's fundraiser. So get out your phones, fill out the card. No amount is too little to help Taryn get into the house that she needs to be able to invite her friends over to cook us a meal one day. We're going to hold you to that, Taryn. We're holding you to that. The ladies from GPS are going to walk around, so please get out the QR, use your phones, your cameras to scan the QR codes, and let's help us raise some money for Taryn's house.
Karen Hutton just pledged $100,000 to build 2 homes, and she will match dollar for dollar what we raise here. So if you'd like to throw that into the mix.
I have to stop y'all for a second. I'm a little out of breath from what I was just told. Karen Hutton just pledged $100,000 to build 2 homes, and in addition To Norma and Olin Mills, $10,000. We'll match dollar for dollar everything that's raised here. So let's not stop with Norma and Olin Mills. Let's not stop with Karen Hutton. You all, let's help Taryn and others like Taryn and Vincent and Vanessa and Tara get into the home of their dreams. You all, I'm going to give y'all a minute to get that money out, to make that pledge, that donation. Thank you all so much. My heart is melting here. It is melting. So a shout out to Hutton and Mod Wash. Karen Hutton's building the Mod Wash car washes. Shout out to Karen Hutton and Mod Wash. And while you all are making your gifts, I want to recognize the Women Build teams here today who are raising $2,500 towards Taryn's home. Let's recognize their hard work. Best Buy, WILD, W-I-L-D, Association of General Contractors, Hard-Hatted Women, Steam Logistics, Home Builders Association, and Pratt Home Builders. Your donations are making a difference and changing this community. Thank you for the chatter. Thank you so much for your heart. Thank you for your passion. Thank you for being here today. You all are investing in Taryn's future and closing the gap of generational wealth. The young ladies are still coming around. Hold up your pledge cards. Just hold them up high. We've got pledge cards in the front. We've got pledge cards over here. Have one over here. No gift is too small. Can we have the thermometer on the, well, I think we've kind of busted that thermometer. Yeah, we've surpassed the thermometer. Look at God. It's amazing. Keeping that momentum up. The young ladies are still looking for folks. There's someone here in the front. This is amazing. Again, another shout out to Karen Hutton and Mod Wash. Thank you all so much for creating this momentum as women and men in the audience. Thank you. I've got a few more comments, and then we're going to close out today's program. We've got one in the back. Thank you all so much. Taryn, how you feeling? You feeling good? Beautiful story. Thank you for helping us raise awareness for affordable women, for affordable housing and supporting women all over Chattanooga. Thank you all so much. So I do have just some final comments. If I can have everyone's attention. You all will be able to, the young ladies in the back, if you all did not get your cards when you all exit the building, feel free to see the young ladies standing in the back of the room to hand in your pledge cards or take a picture of the QR code. Thank you all so much for helping us raise the roof and build homes for deserving, kind, passionate, talented, human individuals like Taryn. So while we are concluding this program in a couple of minutes, there's just a little more fun to be had. So if you haven't already Snapchatted or Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, a picture of yourself, I want you all to go outdoors to the photo booth. So it's out these doors and it's to my right. And we want you all to use the hashtag WomenBuildBreakfast. So if you Facebook, if you're old like me and Edna, just kidding. If you use Facebook, use the hashtag WomenBuildBreakfast. Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. Be sure to take your picture outside by the photo booth. Women Build Breakfast. And also, if you like these gray shirts that you see me wearing, I know we've got a lot of chatter, and I think that's good. My feelings are not hurt. But these shirts are on sale for $15. So again, every dollar raised goes right back into goes right back into Habitat for Humanity to build more houses. So please feel free to buy a shirt. And once more, a special thanks to all of our sponsors, Hutton, Mod Wash, and Real Estate Partners, Greater Chattanooga Realtors, Smart Bank, Steam Logistics, Solid Ground Construction, Erlanger Health System, Raymond James, UTC, Mountain View Auto Group, the Tanisha Irvin Team, Pinnacle Financial Partners, Chick-fil-A on Brainerd Road, Custom Works Graphics, Southern Spear Properties, the Vincent Group, and Brewer Media. Please, let's give it up again for all of today's sponsors. I think we did good raising some money today. Jens, I hope you're happy. Taryn, I hope you're happy. Thank you so much to all of the presenters and entertainers today. On behalf of Habitat for Humanity and the Women Build program, thank you. Thank you for joining us this morning. Thank you for your donations. The link is going to remain live for the rest of the weekend, so you can always go directly to the website at HABICHATT, habychat.org/donations if you want to make one online. And we will see you at the Build site. You all, thank you so much and enjoy the remainder of your Saturday. God bless you.